Hello friends, today we are going to study Chapter 1 Reproduction in Organisms of Standard 12th. As you know, the meaning of reproduction: to reproduce, to regenerate from one living organism to another living organism. One term is important here: lifespan. What is lifespan? Lifespan is the period from birth to the natural death of living organism. It may be shorter or longer, but death of each and every organism, each and every individual is an essential event of their life cycle. How one can define reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process in which an organism gives rise to birth to young ones or offspring similar to itself. That is definition of reproduction. Reproduction enables continuity of the species, generation after generation. There are two types of reproduction. First, asexual. Second, sexual. What is main difference between these two? Asexual reproduction, in which only one parent is required, while in sexual reproduction two parents are required. In asexual reproduction, gametes may be formed or not formed, but during sexual reproduction, gametes are always formed. Let's study first type of reproduction, asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, only one single individual or parent is capable to reproduce offspring. Here they reproduce with or without gamete formation. New offspring is exact copy of their parent. Here one term is important: clone. What do you mean by clone? Clone is a morphologically and genetically similar organism. During asexual reproduction, various processes are observed in living organism. Generally, asexual reproduction is very common in lower organisms. Single cell organism also, asexual reproduction is essential event of their life cycle. Various methods are observed of asexual reproduction in living organisms. Now, methods of asexual reproduction in single cell organism. As you know, single cell organism, they are having very primitive body structure, only single cell body structure. Various methods are observed in single cell organism for asexual reproduction. First, cell division. What do you mean by cell division? When cell divides mitotically, two cells are formed, and these two newly formed daughter cells, they are exact copy of their parents. This method is very common in Protista and Monera. Second, binary fission. In this type of asexual reproduction, organism divide into two equal halves. That's why it is known as binary fission, divided into two equally halves. This type of asexual reproduction is observed in amoeba and paramecium. Both these organisms are very primitive organisms having only single cell body structure. Third type of asexual reproduction in single cell organisms, that is formation of buds. How buds are formed? Actually, they are outgrowth of cell division. Here, cell divides unequally. Unequal type of cell division is observed. It grows and at favorable condition, these birds get separated from their parent body and new organism is formed. This method is very common in yeast. Fourth type, ancestration and sporulation. Ancestration and sporulation type of asexual reproduction is observed in amoeba. During unfavorable condition, the body of amoeba cyst-like formation take place. Within this cyst, nucleus divides many times and many nuclei are formed. During favorable condition, this cyst bursts, and from this burst cyst, many spores liberated in atmosphere which can develop into amoeba. So, here this type of methods of asexual reproductions are observed in single cell organism like Protista, Monera, amoeba, Paramecium, yeast. Over and above these methods, some special asexual reproductive structures are also observed in various organisms. Some of these are here. First, zoospores. Zoospores are observed in some fungi and algae. They are motile. They can move. That's why they are known as zoospores. By formation of these zoospores, new organisms develop. Second, conidia. Conidia formation is observed in Penicillium, which is a one type of fungi. Through formation of conidia, new organisms are formed. Third, buds. Buds are observed in hydra. Sometimes external, sometimes internal. Actually, they are outgrowth by mitotic cell division. During favorable condition, these buds get separated from the parental body and give rise new organism, their development. Fourth, gammules. Gammules are common in sponges. Through gammules in sponges, asexual reproduction take place. So these are some special asexual reproductive structure observed in various living organisms for continuity of generation. Now what about plants? Plants also show asexual reproduction where parents are not required, where gametes are not formed. Various types are observed here also in plants. It is commonly known as vegetative propagation. First, runner. Runner forming grasses. Through formation of runner, from one grass plant, many grass plants is developed. Second, rhizome. Rhizome formation take place in ginger and turmeric. They also reproduce asexually and new plant is formed. Third, sucker. In some plants, sucker formation take place for vegetative propagation. Fourth, tuber. Tuber formation is observed in potato. It is one kind of method of vegetative propagation where new organism is developed. Fifth, offset. Offset are observed in Pistia. Through formation of offset without gamete formation, through this method, many plants can be developed. Sixth, bulb. Bulb formation is observed in some plant, bulbil in agave. Through bulb formation, parental plant can form daughter plant through asexual reproduction. Seventh, eyes. Eyes form in potatoes. Through formation of eyes, new plant is developed through vegetative propagation method. Eighth, nodes. In some plants, nodular nodes formation take place. These nodes are also useful for vegetative propagation in plants. This method, vegetative propagation, is also useful for economy for farmers, so they can produce large number of plants in their farm also. Now one interesting example is there, which is known as terror of Bengal. The plant named water hyacinth is known as terror of Bengal. It's actually one type of weed which is growing on standing water, surface of water. Why it is known as terror of Bengal? Through one plant only on water surface, through vegetative propagation, number of plants develop which cover entire surface of this water area. So, organism living inside of this surface cannot get sufficient oxygen supply, and that's why they are known as terror of Bengal. In some organisms, fragmentation is also observed, like Hydra. In this method, parental body is divided into fragment or pieces. Through this fragment or pieces, new organism is developed, and this method of asexual production is known as fragmentation. So these are some various methods of asexual reproduction observed in single cell organism, some spatial structure observed in some living organisms. What is vegetative propagation? Now you are aware of this. Okay, so this way we can come to know about this various type of asexual reproduction in living organisms. After studying this topic in detail, you will make a chart showing summary of asexual reproduction, means various type of asexual reproduction, about method, and various example of organisms which show this kind of various method of asexual reproduction. In your surrounding also, some plants, some animals, living organisms are there which reproduce asexually. Some various structures, spatial structures are observed. So you can also study your surrounding for this purpose.